views and opinions expressed on the show are strictly those of the host and guests and do not reflect the opinions of LAP Productions and its affiliates.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night of Getting to Know. And Jason's brought a friend because I don't have any.
You're both my brothers.
I don't make enough money to have friends.
How's everybody doing?
It's Mother's Day. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful moms out there that keep the kids and keep us in line too.
Mine actually knew me today.
I've been called a mother before.
I was going to send Jason a message to tell him Happy Mother's Day, Mother. And Teresa goes, don't do that. Oh, God. She has no sense of humor, even though she did marry me.
Yeah, she married you. That's a
miracle in its own right.
30-some years of humor.
Kill me. Oh, it's starting to sound like Sam Kinison. Kill me. Oh.
So let's introduce our guest tonight. First and foremost, man, it's good to see you, brother. I miss you, and I'm glad you're able to be on here with us. Our guest tonight is Phil Monahan. Most of you guys watching the show probably know him as Nitro. 25-year professional wrestler. Hey, Emmy, how you doing? Just an all-around fantastic guy. You wear a lot of hats, man. You wear a lot of hats. You work for the Michigan Department of Corrections. You're an author. You're an actor. You do professional Santa Claus. You do just a ton of things, man. And welcome to the show, to Getting to Know. If you just want to kind of introduce yourself a little more than what I did, but then we'll dive into some topics and talk about your wrestling career, your book, COVID survivor. And I'm happy to say survivor, brother, because you scared a lot of us, man. I know you scared yourself, but you scared a lot of us during that time, man. And I'm glad to see your handsome, smiling face on the camera today.
Yeah, well, it was just about a year ago. Well, it was just a little bit a year ago, and I went through all that. So I'm definitely glad to be here. And, whatever you guys want to know, no questions too deep, and I'm happy to answer them.
I got tons of questions, but I'm just flabbergasted with all that you're doing. I mean, on top of all this, an author, a wrestler, and all this, and a corrections officer. I mean, I'm in over my head this time. And I know the wrestling thing. I tried. We had a place we used to go that had a ring set up in it, and I bounced off the ropes once and took a backdrop and rolled underneath the thing because I knocked the wind out of myself just falling on the mat. You guys are amazing with what you do with that thing. God, the conditioning.
Well, I mean, it's not ballet.
No,
Right?
No, it is not.
Right.
I mean, I'm like the wind out of myself falling down on the mat. I thought, well, all the stories you hear.
Yeah, it takes
Boys
some
and
getting
girls,
used to, for sure.
Oh, and you guys call them something simple like, well, I'm just going to take a bump. That ain't no bump. This is not a bump. That hurts.
Yeah, especially the older you get.
This was about 15 years
No,
ago.
I'm just crazy to do it for as long as we've done it.
Oh, I can't imagine. 25 years? That's amazing to me.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So let's talk about that for a minute, Phil, because you're not a one-time, you're not a two-time, you're a three-time NWA champion. How did you get
national heavyweight champion?
point? How did you get to that point in your career, man?
Oh, boy. I don't know. I guess it was just perseverance. Some guys are satisfied with just what we call the 40 milers that, they don't go to any shows or events that are, more than 40 miles away. And I've always been, try to be as professional as I could be in this business. And we're road warriors, we're on the road all the time. I mean, if you truly want to be a professional wrestler, that's what you have to do, is put those hours in, put those miles in, put those flights in. You're going to miss holidays and family occasions. And and all that. And I've done all that, you know, shit. I've been divorced twice. And, so, you know, I'm sure that had something to do with it, you know, but, you got to put your heart into it, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, you
But,
have to.
I got to meet the, yeah, we got to meet the NWA people in 2013. It's went through a couple changes of ownership or whatever. But in my company, I was also running up my own promotion as well. And we became an NWA affiliate. And, you know, we had some really good TV production coming out of Toledo for a few years. And, you know, we set some matches up. And one day I got the call from the office, and they sent me a contract, and I signed it for the NWA National Heavyweight Championship, and the rest is history. You know, I traded it back and forth. I won it from Damian Wayne, and I first lost it to Lou Marconi, and we traded it back and forth a couple times. And that was probably my toughest opponent. I mean, we had some bloody brawls between here and North Carolina, just traveling up and down every other month. We'd be somewhere, duking it out, beating the hell out of each other. But I wouldn't have it no other way.
Oh, and the trust level you guys got to have with each other is amazing to me because, like I said, it is a well practiced, hard thing that you guys do, and it's very athletic, very demanding of your bodies, and the slightest little mistake can get somebody really in bad shape, real bad shape, I imagine, if not permanently hurt.
Oh yeah, I've had a couple surgeries from it, for sure.
But it's great
dedication.
To watch. It really is. I love it. I love watching. But the kind of I used to watch is kind of no longer, you know, the old Stone Cold went back to that time, and it needed to change up. It needed a whole new atmosphere, and it's really become a whole different thing nowadays than what it used to be. It's so much more involved, fan oriented, in my opinion, nowadays.
I'm not really a big fan of what they have out there today. I liked wrestling when it was guys that you really believed hated each other and went out there and kicked the shit out of each other, and, you know, tried to end each other's careers, and, you know, the emotions behind it and stuff. You know, today they say most of these promos are scripted, and you don't feel the emotion behind it like you did back in the 80s and 70s, and, you know.
Heck yeah. Oh, there you go. They got a local one of theirs getting on WWE, Bobby Blaze. Heck yeah. But these guys, man, 25 years of that. I mean, like I said, I just barely took a fall in there for you guys, and I've whined like a little baby and rolled out gasping for air. And you guys taking these bumps like that for 25 years, amazing to me. I would thought, you know, I'm going to run over here and bounce off the ropes. Bullshit, that hurts. And you guys throw each other into them. That's crazy. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
but crazy.
Yeah, and they're usually, you know, they're padded cables. I mean, they're 3/4 inch thick. You know, it's breaking in it. You'll have marks and everything else, and you still get bruised up doing that. Unfortunately for me, I haven't been able to wrestle in the last year since my COVID health problems. So
heck yeah,
it kind of sucks.
Well, you got to keep your wind about you to be able to do that, because I mean, there's so much more athletic than what people ever give it credit for.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's amazing, and you see some of these. I imagine the guys is like, see, and they're like, "Oh, it's all fake." Those are the guys who are like, "Come out here and find out how fake it is, jackass." Come on out here and get in the ring one time. I dare you. God, Jason,
I was always a good one to tell someone that too. So.
Oh, I bet.
Right. Take a chop from Nitro. That's a fun time.
Hell no.
So what got you interested in wrestling? Was it watching it as a kid and just wanted to do it, or was it some kind of different passion, or what was it?
No, that's exactly what it was watching it as a kid, you know, and it's something I wanted to do. And, you know, I just didn't let anybody deter my dreams or my passion for it. trying to get in there. Back when I got into it, it wasn't as easy as it is today, with local schools being promoted, and kind of that wall has been broken down, because back in my day, you really had to bust your ass, and there was a lot more secrecy and rules to it. They just didn't let anybody in, and now you pay the money to train, and you're good to go. So it's changed quite a bit since I started.
Yeah, because it does seem they do more of the acrobatics nowadays than what you used to do. You guys did more of the hard chops, the hits, and all that stuff. You don't see the chops like you used to and things like that. It's more the high flying aerial acrobatics and stuff. I never paid attention to it. You started saying they said that earlier, and I'm like, really, it is. It has changed quite a bit, but they still sell the characters sometimes. Some of them really do. Some don't. Some don't sell them as well. I mean, character development's got to be one.
Yeah,
of
there
your
was
biggest
definitely a lot better characters back in the old days. In the '80s or whatever. There were so many different characters. You had cowboys, Indians, bikers, all that, and something for everybody. And now it's kind of like a cookie cutter almost.
See, I'm an old guy, so when I remember watching when I was a kid, I mean, I remember when Jerry Lawler was still wrestling in that Georgia wrestling circuit, and him and Superstar Billy Dundee and some others that were, that's when they still each had their little region. I remember Lawler was one of my favorite wrestlers out of that, but you only got to see them on certain, that was only on Saturday at this time to this time, because they didn't cross each other's territories too much. And it was, it was way different when it came to the 80s. It changed even more. Then especially when you got the whole Attitude Era and the battling between the two big companies. That free it up for you guys to get a little bit more freedom to do more things in the other circuits when those two were battling each other so much.
Yeah, I think that was what really blew it up a lot, because I can remember back then in the 90s, mid 90s. We were on a lot of different events. We could wrestle 4 or 5 times a weekend on different events, and traveling, hours to different shows. There was such a big demand for it, and everybody was getting paid pretty decently and stuff. And that's also the time that the wall came down a little bit, when everything was so mainstream and more people got into it.
Now, was that a big thing with the territories? I mean, where you didn't cross this line and this promoter didn't send other people to this promotion and that kind of thing when you first started?
When I first got in the mid 90s, the territory situation pretty much been broken down. A lot of that was already done with. A lot of the guys that I broke in with were old Dick the Bruiser guys, so they'd worked the territories and been around for a minute.
Gotcha.
Wow.
It was like the last end of it. So, yeah.
Man, Dick the Bruiser.
That's where I learned the most from. I tell guys now, now that when I broke in the locker room, the guys were sitting there drinking beer, smoking cigars, playing cards, talking shit. And then now I go into locker rooms and, everybody's got their phones out, their headphones in, and all these protein and energy drinks, and and it's just, and they're going over all these moves, and you just didn't see that when that's where it's evolved to.
Well, you guys pretty much just made it up on the fly. Just kind of make up as you're going along.
It's called working. Working the ring. You were given a certain outline of what they wanted. I'm not saying move wise or anything. Sometimes that's the case, but not very often. And then you go out there and you play it off the crowd some. Just tell your story. And
man,
what's your favorite style or type of match?
I'm tag team wrestler, so I like tag team matches. And like I said, I like the big, tough, physical matches. The ones that are hard hitting, and the ones that the people are going to watch and be like, "Oh shit, that had to hurt."
Love them. Love them.
Right.
I
Yep.
Like I said, I'm dumbfounded by the abuse that you guys put your bodies through. And God, 25 years, I'd have quit about 20 years ago. I'm too small for that shit. I never had to worry about it. 5 foot nothing. I'm out.
Well, nowadays you can be that. So, yeah, that's another big thing. And back then, all the guys were huge and larger than life, and now you've got primarily as guys, under 6 feet tall, about 200 pounds, and that's just the majority.
Wow. No,
Yeah,
like
because you guys were when you did your tag team, you guys wrestled under Demolition, correct?
Demolition left the WWF in the early 90s, and Axe and Smash went their separate ways. Smash and Crush actually stayed in the WWF for a little while, for a short run, and then Axe was relegated to the independent scene. And there was a couple different variations of the independent version of Demolition, but for me, I was lucky enough to get Axe's blessing and tag team with him, doing shows. That was a big learning experience for me. So definitely give him a lot of credit for my growth as a professional.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Definitely a highlight too, because when I was growing up, I really liked them. They were my favorites. As like saying, you meet your heroes. All those guys are awesome. So.
That I've seen some of the guys.
It'd be like being a basketball player, getting drafted to the Bulls, and being Michael Jordan's your favorite player, and you get drafted to the Bulls. That's what I like to liken it to.
But see, you and I have been friends for quite a while, and I've seen over the years where you've traveled and wrestled with some big name. Where everybody watches it on Saturdays or the Sunday shows. I mean, you've wrestled and been in the ring with, just a ton of people that have that everybody would know their name is what I'm trying to say. So that had to have just been, so much fun. If you want to talk about some of them or some of those highlighted matches that you've done.
One of my favorite guys that I wrestled when I went on tour in Alaska. We toured for a week in Alaska, and then another time we toured in Japan, Hawaii, and North Korea, and Guam. And that was with the Barbarian from the Powers of Pain and the Faces of Fear. Me and him were one-on-one every night in the main event on those tours, and most of those matches were hardcore matches. So anything goes, and a couple of times I remember we were in Korea one time, and he went to throw me through a table, and the table wouldn't break. So I tried to go through it about 3 or 4 times. We changed it around. I tried to throw him through it 3 or 4 times. That damn thing wouldn't break. It broke us, but it didn't break. Right. So
wow,
that was one of my highlights. Wrestling in Germany was another big deal for me. I went over there a couple times. For European professional wrestling, and these are things that I got to do that I never would have got to do if it wasn't for pro wrestling.
Very cool.
I can imagine a smile like that, and then throwing each other into a table like that. Everybody always said, "Well, those tables are cut," or they wouldn't have held up that many times. So your guys slammed into it; it snapped like a twig. But damn, no, Jason, we cannot practice this.
Yeah, we're both 300. Yeah, we're both 300 plus, and that thing wasn't breaking. So,
wow, damn, I'm about ready to cry thinking about that.
Yeah,
3 or 4 times being thrown to a table and did not break. No.
Yeah.
No. And Jason said you wrote a book. What's the topic of the book?
The book is called Venting Me. Those were the last words that I had texted to my family. Right before they put me on the vent for the COVID, my COVID infection. And then the book is about my life story. It's kind of interesting. But then, a lot of it covered the COVID, then me almost dying, and some of the supernatural type things that happened to me while I was on the vent, the nightmares and the visions and different things that happened while I was on it. It was crazy. I thought, I was really struggling. I was in the hospital for about a week when they asked me, on Easter Sunday, they came in and they said, you're not getting any better. We recommend that you go on the vent now, and give yourself a chance, a fighting chance, before it becomes to the point where it's not an option not to be on the vent, that you have to, we're going to have to throw you on there to keep you alive. So I was like, oh shit, this is getting real. And I was miserable because I couldn't hardly breathe. I was on a BiPAP machine, and this nurse stayed behind, and I never really seen her before. And she kind of gave me a calming presence, I should say. And I told her, okay, well, tell them. And I watched the doctors and everybody had already left. And as soon as I told her that and she went out there, I remember watching them all just start putting all their shit down and getting ready to come back in the room to do it. It was that quick. And I couldn't really talk to anybody because of the stuff on my face, and it was hard to hear. And I was really aggravated. And when they told me I would be unconscious on the vent, I thought I was going to get a break, a break from the suffering and the agitation that I was going through. So I got my phone out as quick as I could, and texted my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time. I texted her. She was my fiance, and I texted my parents and my brother, and my adult daughter, and said, hey, they're venting me, love you. See you. I'll see you if I see you, because at that point there was no guarantee I was going to go on and come off, because a lot of people, they don't make it off the vent. Oh, yeah. So I said a prayer and threw it up in the air, and the rest was, 2 weeks on that sucker, and
Damn.
it was pretty much hell.
It sounds it, and plus with all that going on, with having the experiences that you were having in the dreams and things like that, that's amazing in its own right. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, they were awful. They were awful. All these I'm on paralytics, I'm unconscious, and all these dreams and visions that I'm having, I'm tied up or tied down. I can't move and I can't get out of places. And I can just imagine being stuck in that world where all this different shit's happening to you. And there was different situations that happened to me in these visions and dreams, but none of them were good. Not one of them were. But most of them, I always had somebody talking to me. That was just trying to encourage me to keep fighting and it's going to be all right or whatever. Which was comforting, but at the same time, it wasn't, I was in hell. So.
It sounds it. And your book's available through, where can they find to get your book at?
Yeah. It's, my friend sells it in her store. It's Zodiac Boutique. It's in Hillsdale, Michigan.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have the link to it, but if anybody's interested, they can message me on Facebook and I can send them the link or whatever, but it's on my page too.
Cool. Definitely want to be able to get people the chance to find it and read it and stuff. Without a doubt. Before we get too far away from the part.
So I got up 2 weeks.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Have a favorite match or location?
Yeah,
I'll forget what I'm saying anyway, because my brain fog is still terrible to this day. But favorite match or location? boy, oh boy. Some of my favorite matches were, I'd have to say, like the ones in Germany were pretty fun. I've had so many of them, I can't really. They're all favorite matches for different reasons, you know. Doing the tag team match with my kids a couple years ago was fun. Doing the matches with the Barbarian was fun. Wrestling Lou Marconi back and forth for the NWA national title was fun. There's too many for me to just point down at one and say, man, that was my most favorite match.
I couldn't imagine saying the Barbarian was fun. Hell no, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. It ain't like you're just out there, like you said earlier, it ain't like you're doing ballet. That shit's going to hurt. The Barbarian was noted for, but you guys make it look a lot more than what it is. It is painful. I know it's got to be painful, but you guys can also sell it to really make it look more detrimental than what it is, right? That's almost a question.
Some of it,
right?
yeah. I mean, you know, it's you know, it's an acquired taste.
I'm not going to kid, man. Like I said, I loved it growing up, and when I got a chance to get in that ring, then there was nobody around. The place was it was a place we used to go to. They had it in the gymnasium because they put on shows every Sunday, I think Tuesday or something like that. But you know, there was nobody in the building, nobody was around, so I thought, you know, I'm gonna get there by myself. I like to kick my ass, and that sold it right there for me. That was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I'm like, I couldn't imagine now. I'm 54. You're not throwing me against shit. I'm not doing it. I quit. I'm tapping out.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do it again. And
I've had the pleasure of helping Phil put some rings together and tear them down at a couple of locations, and it's not padded like you think it's padded,
No.
and give the way that you think it gives. Man, that's a rough thing.
Like I said, I'd never been in one, so I thought
it's not a trampoline.
No, it's not a trampoline.
No, I slammed down that thing. I knocked the wind out of myself. I'm not kidding. I rolled. I jumped into the ring, climbed the rope to jump. I rolled underneath that bottom rope and wheezed on the side for about 20 minutes or so. My hat's off, man. At 25
Lesson
years
learned.
and you still want to get back in there. That's what gets me. You're ready to get back in shape and get back in there and do it again.
I want to go out on my own terms. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and this COVID is not. I lost my career. You know, my professional career as working for the prison. You know, they let me go after 25 years there in January because I couldn't come back to work. And I've been fighting ever since then to forget my workman's comp and my long-term disability, and it's just been a battle. Nothing's been easy. I can tell you that. I thought, you know, living through COVID and I'd be back, but I've got residual lung disease now from COVID, asthmatic bronchitis. It's just, I get really tired. I have a ton of different problems that just hit me, and I can't tell you when they're going to hit, but when they do, it's not very good.
Wow. And you're one of the people that I've met, few people. I've been lucky. The people in my area, my family, none of us have really got affected by it. But you're not the first I've heard talk about those long-term effects and how bad it got for some people. And it's just mind-boggling that you had to go through all that stuff with your work and stuff too, with as long as you've been there and things. That's just part of the problem with this, with our governmental system in our country right at the moment. The people that actually deserve to help the most usually get the least. Sad to say.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's
while I was on the vent, I had a bad IV in my left arm that was just pumping antibiotics into my muscle. So the second day I was awake, I was trying to tell them my arm, you know, but they're thinking, you know, I'm so high on different things that I didn't know what I was talking about. But then they finally took a look and like, oh shit, my arm was 3 times what it should have been. They rushed me into emergency surgery trying to save my arm. And the surgery saved my arm, but I have permanent nerve damage and no function in that part. So my hand is continually pins and needles all the time.
Oh.
It's like it's asleep, and I can't. It's atrophying. So one side of me is a little bigger than the other side, and I used to be able to lift and be that guy when you needed something moved or heavy shit done, and now I'm not that guy. You know, a lot of things kick my ass pretty easily.
But for a different reason. It's due to the COVID and the health conditions.
Yeah.
It's not like it's and that's still hard to swallow sometimes. I mean, like I said, I'm not 1/10 of what you've been through, and I'm realizing now I'm 54 that I'm not 24 and 34, and I can't do what like I used to do, and it's a kick in the ass. It is. It's a kick in the ass. It's a kick in the ego.
Yeah, and that's one reason I wanted to put this book out there. Is because I was a kind of pretty much healthy dude, and somebody that nobody ever thought that I'd be in the position that I was in. You know, and I'm not saying the vaccine is a cure-all. I'm not getting on any podiums. Believe what you want to believe, but I was one of those guys on the fence, and I almost died. And if my doctor tells me that getting the vaccine, I can still get COVID, but it won't be as bad, you know, as it could be, which the stats show that, you know, I'm gonna do what I can. Never, you know, it was bad enough for me, but it was also bad and hard on my kids and my parents and everybody when they told them they told them, you better plan for a funeral. If you want to come down and see your son today, you better get down here because we don't think he's going to make it. And then they life flighted me to Cleveland Clinic. And, you know, funny thing is, one of my jobs is a drug counselor. And I woke up out of my vent. I pulled the vent out myself. I don't remember it. But when I started getting around, I thought, because of all these dreams, some of them were in drug houses and terrible places. And people were falling out and strung out, because I had that in my mind from my other, you know, working in the prison and being a substance abuse counselor. So it's weird because this SWAT team at the end of my thing, the SWAT team came in and got me out of this position and took me to a hospital. And I think part of that started my reality and my vision started intercrossing with each other. And I woke up, and the first time I could FaceTime my parents, I said, hey, I'm sorry for what I did, because I would see them in my visions and friends. No one would talk to me. And I had figured out in my mind that I was on fentanyl in the hospital, and I thought I was on fentanyl as an addict. And in my world, you know, in that addict world, people are dying from fentanyl. So I told my parents, I was like, I will go to rehab. I'll turn myself in, do whatever I got to do to clean up. And they're like, what are you talking about? I just like,
so it was real to you, though.
I thought I was a drug addict.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said it was absolutely 100% real to you. It was real. I mean, you were out of it. It was your reality, but not the reality of what's going on in the world. So I was bad about the vaccine. I wouldn't say bad things about it or about people wanting to get it. I just was not going to get it because my wife, who has asthma, she's got some kind of asthma. She's got to do an injection every 2 weeks. Plus, she's got to carry an inhaler and nebulizer and all this stuff. She hadn't got it yet. So my thing was to push her. Is like, well, the person who's got the most risk in the family isn't getting it. Why should I get it? So finally, she had to get it for work. And I'm like, that's when I'm like, oh crap, no, I got to get it, because I said I would. I said if she got it, I get it, and which was no problem. I've always been an advocate that if you want to get it, if you don't get it, don't want to get it, don't. But don't tell the other person what they need to do. You do you, boo boo, and mind you, don't get into people's business.
I think that's dangerous to do. You know, have someone make their decisions based on your opinion, because you know, listen to what your doctor has to say.
Yeah,
for real. Not Facebook. Whatever you do, not Facebook.
Right.
Really, I'm an untrained professional.
I think I was.
Yeah, I'm an untrained professional. I know exactly what you should do. Listen to me.
story of my life.
I think I was too far gone to be put on that remdesivir or whatever it's called. My lungs were in that bad a shape when I came to the hospital.
Wow.
To answer that question.
There's a lot of things that you went through, Phil, that you may touch on your, in your book that you're not talking about here, but just like your hand for one, I mean, that would like bust open on you and stuff. I remember, talking to you about and seeing that on your posts where it would bust open on you and stuff. So it wasn't just like your hand got big. It was, you had a lot of things. You were in a lot of pain and going through a lot with some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I went home and with an open wound. My arm was not closed. It was looked like a football with the stretching. So every 3 times a week when I would come, I would have to go to wound care, and they would have to scrape it, which wasn't pleasant, and then pull those strings tighter to get it closer to close. And that went on for about 2 months till it finally was good to go. Wow. And it was, it was not pleasant.
I thought I
put
myself through some stuff, man. I'm just a big sissy now. I'd beat the hell out of myself, but nothing like this. My God, I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, that was my biggest worry. Like, I forgot what they called it.
Ow.
Yeah,
and I would have been in a nursing home, but my fiance ended up quitting her job and taking care of me, just to take care of me. So I owe her a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Between your wife now and your children, I mean, they, you got a huge support system, and your parents, of course, but you surround yourself good with your support system there, and I know they took care of you hand over fist.
That's what family's about, though. My opinion. Just my opinion. Because I know some people don't have that.
Sure. I mean, I still have bad PTSD from all those visions and dreams, and I wake up and I have those dreams. I'm talking in my sleep. I can't use my CPAP machine anymore because anything gets in my face, just even like that, it takes my breath away, and I can't breathe. And I remember times of being like that where I just couldn't breathe.
Yeah, that's good. It's got to be a scary feeling because there's one thing that we need to do.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Breathe.
It's not only with the PTSD from that, but with the years of working in corrections, and God, you've been through and seen more than 1 year than I put myself
trying to get my phone charger.
We're harassing him, man.
Yeah,
we're making
what though? I mean, prison. Oh, there we go. But a lot of the guys, some of the guys that have gotten out were big support systems, for me, and would message my fiance, how's he doing and stuff. So, prison's big and scary, but it's not everybody's in there. Not everybody that's in there is bad. There's some people that are really sorry for what they did, and
I imagine there's people that they made a mistake or wrong place, wrong time, made a stupid decision, and they really regret it. I fully believe that. I don't think it's just full of just people that need to be forgot about. There's people in there that really want to get out and make a difference in their lives. And the bad part about it is a lot of times society won't overlook that. All they see is the fact that they've been there and what they went there for, and they want to write them off. That's not fair either. It's supposed to be, you've done your time, you've done your crime, you've done your time, and it's over with. That's what they like to say, but that's not how they practice it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
At all. So, I mean, I've got a friend of mine that actually he shouldn't have went. He just wouldn't tell on everybody that was there involved. He was really innocent, but he wouldn't rat on everybody. And he went for about 5 or 6 years, and he's had a hell of a time since then. And that was 30 years ago, getting jobs, mainly getting jobs.
I tell you.
They said, "Oh, you've been in prison?" They won't even talk
that
to
whole that whole no snitching thing's way overrated. So
yeah. way, because we're both in our
You know.
50s now, and he's still having a hard time with it. He's never been able to establish a good long time in any job, and then when he got one, he thought it was going to be good. That they went under, so then went try to get another job. Oh, you've been in prison? Yeah, we'll call you. And he knows when as soon as they say that, we'll call you back. It's a no.
Yeah.
Well, we have a court
Yeah, that's
system that punishes people
unfortunate.
for lifetime on minimal occurrences, yet major crimes seem to get less time. And it's not just the court system; it's public opinion. Public opinion hurts a lot of these guys a lot of times, even more so once they get out. Like I said, they just find out he's been in jail, and if he don't put it on there, then he falsified his application, and they don't hire him anyway. So it's a lose-lose situation for him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my whole perspective. Nothing about prison because I don't know. I just got a little local jail for public intox a few times. That's back when they hold you for about 4 hours and let you go home. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
They keep you long enough to even feed you.
Yeah, prison's a little different than the county jail. That's for sure.
Wasn't even a county jail. It's a little city jail. Not even a city. It's a village.
Right.
So, you went to that city jail.
So, not only 3-time NWA champ, author, you're an actor too.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of that.
I know of at least one fantastic, amazing film that you were a part of years ago.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah. The vineyard.
The winery, man. The winery.
Yeah.
The winery. Yeah,
God.
the winery.
That's right. The winery. That was one of my first ones.
Yes.
But that was a good time. That was fun for sure. But yeah, if you get a copy of the winery, you can see Phil in that one for sure.
I have a copy, and I will be checking it out again because now I have to rewatch it. I'm going to rewatch it just to watch for Phil.
And if anybody wants, I actually did my own film, produced it, and helped write it, and it's on YouTube. It's a feature-length film. It's called Devil's Inc. with John Dugan from Texas Chainsaw Massacre in it.
Yeah, Grandpa.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
Now, are you still?
He said it was one of his.
Are you still putting something else together? I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to talk about your idea.
Well, yeah, I've got a current project. Yeah, I'm trying to get funding for it because I know that this film, when it gets done, and it's done right, this thing is going to be pretty big, and I have no doubts in my mind that it'll be like one of those cult movies. It's just about getting the funding to get it done, which doesn't have to be a lot, but it has to be enough, But it's a crazy idea, and I've got it copyrighted and all that good stuff. But it's a mockumentary based movie. Part of it's like a fake documentary. The other parts, current time. It's a lot of flashbacks, but it's about Elvis Presley faking his death to hunt Sasquatch. So
yeah,
it's out there, but
I
the script's
told
done.
You
we got one of the number one. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Phil.
Oh, and I was going to say, we've got one of the number one Elvis impersonators, tribute artists in the country, Matt King, signed on with the project. And it's called Chronicles of the King, The Search for Sasquatch. It's on Facebook. Give it a like, and you can see pictures of Matt. He does a hell of a job, and with him on board, everything else is, it's going to fall into place.
Right.
It's just hard to do that when you have everything done, but you don't have the green to get it done. That's where we have problems.
If I've done it right, everybody, I just put the link to the movie in the chat room. If I did it right. Now, where you're relying on me to do something right with computer.
Right. And I told you, if time permits and you need help, we're here to help you.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great.
Have you done any other
But yeah, my
acting
crazy
with
brain's
any
always
other
thinking of
films?
something.
Right.
Yeah, just like some small stuff. It's kind of some background noise, for a few things, but I can't remember some of the names. That's another thing with this COVID thing. My memory is totally erased. It's almost like some days I have dementia and I can't remember simple things that otherwise I would,
Right.
remember, and I can't. People always have to remind me. So not only do I have brain fog from like the COVID, but on top of that, we're talking about 25 years of wrestling, getting hit in the head with chairs and
I was gonna say,
multiple
I was gonna ask
concussions
that.
and everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I
it's
was gonna say,
probably a
but
good
chair
mixture of
shots couldn't
both.
help the damn thing, could they? No, I mean, come on, being hit with chairs, being thrown through tables.
Yeah.
Hardcore matches where you hit with everything under the sun, including trash cans. No, that couldn't have a thing to do with it.
Yeah. And you know what they say is my chiropractor told me like every one of those bumps that you take is like a small car crash for you. So
Now, so we're back on the topic
take that
about
for what it's
wrestling.
worth.
Was there anybody, you don't have to say their names, but how many times have you run into that guy that is just an asshole that
What the
just,
hell?
you don't want to get in the ring with, it doesn't, not fun to work with? I mean, does that happen a lot, or is it few and far between because everybody's there really to do the same purpose, to put on a great show? And
It's only happened a small amount of times, not too many. I can honestly say I've been pretty fortunate in that aspect.
gotcha.
That's a good thing. And Emily had asked, so was Elvis interested in Bigfoot? My thing is, if he met Bodine, he damn sure would be
I
interested in
don't
Bigfoot.
think so.
Right.
You see, this is when I was coming through. When I wanted to start writing a script and putting my ideas together, I was like, what are two things that I like that, and two things that are big in America that would be a hit, but no one would expect them to cross the path, And Elvis, he's my favorite musician, and I've always been a Bigfoot believer. So I was like, imagine that. And then I came up with the whole concept and threw it together.
Heck yeah. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then again, if it's different, it's odd.
And I like Bubba Hotep too, which was very cool.
Well, it's like all this, Bigfoot stuff behind me here. I don't like Bigfoot at all.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then since you've done all this other stuff, then you also do Santa Claus.
I don't get it. I don't see it in his beard.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll start growing it out, and it's
He's got the natural one for it, man.
The pictures
Yeah.
and the stuff, because you travel all over doing events for kids and other places like Bass Pro and places like that. So, but that you're usually traveling a lot doing that, aren't you?
Yeah. So I just started doing Santa for my nieces and nephews with the old cheap beard and the cheap wig and the cheap suit. And that was fun. And then my work, I was going to do Santa for the Christmas party. And I already had a long beard, but it was really dark. And I got some of this makeup stuff and put it in my beard to lighten it up and did Santa. And just on a whim, I put on Facebook, book your Santa Claus visit now, whatever, how much money, I don't remember what it was. And next thing you know, that shit blew up. It was huge. And then as I started looking into it on YouTube and different things, I realized that, well, back that up a little bit further than that, but I actually wanted to retire. When I retired, my backup plan, because I knew a guy that was a professional Santa from this area, and come around November, he would go down to Tennessee or wherever he wanted to go on vacation and live for the next 6 weeks. And they would pay him stupid good to be Santa. And he basically had his pick of the place to go and make buku bucks. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do when I retire. Well,
Heck yeah.
I started doing it a little sooner before then and started looking into things, and then ended up signing up with an agent who put me in different places, which mainly Bass Pro or Cabela's. And I started working those gigs and networking and finding out there's a whole another universe based on Santa Claus.
Right.
Where all these Santas, are on Facebook together and networking and all this. So as of the last year, COVID shut me down on doing all that, even coming back, because I just can't sit there for that long, doing Santa at Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's. And I'm just exhausted, and some days I just can't do it. And so I didn't do it last year, but the years before I was doing it. And it was it saved my kids' Christmas a couple times. I mean, really, it was a good, there's a huge, Santa makes money. So I ended up with like 3 agents and went all over. And I was actually contacted by WWE to do Santa for one of their Christmas Raws, but at the last minute they decided they weren't going to do it. So that kind of sucked. That would have been the icing on the cake if I could have done that. But
Oh yeah, that'd been great.
yeah.
That's
But Santa's
cool.
big
'Cause
business.
I remember seeing some of the pictures you would post, and that it looked good. I mean, the whole thing looked good. So I only imagine.
Oh, yeah.
That, your agents had you all over the place.
heck
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep, I've
And
been put up all over. So go
who
ahead.
doesn't love a good Santa? Who doesn't love a good Santa? I don't care
Yeah,
who you are.
that's
I
one
don't
thing
care
about
how young
Santa.
or old
You
you
almost
are.
any if you see
You got a
Santa, you
person
smile.
who
You
do
bring
it.
a smile to someone's face.
You have to. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to. You have to. If you don't smile and you don't really get happy when you see a Santa, you just need to have your head checked because you got stuck somewhere that don't
I mean,
belong.
9 times out of 10, it's pretty good. But sometimes you have kids that just come up and their mom or dad's died or something, and they want to, come up to Santa and like, can you bring my mommy back? I'm like,
That would be hard.
well, not unless you want me to give you a shovel for Christmas.
Right.
That would be me as a Santa. Me dig her up for you? Sure.
I told that joke a few times.
That would be hard one though.
That's what you're
that would
saying.
be a
You
something I won't be in.
want a shovel for Christmas. Yeah,
That would be something I would say.
I'm just
too.
kidding.
No, I couldn't see you being like that.
I would never say it, but
you can
Think about it. You can think about it. You just can't say it.
You can
yes,
think it.
yeah.
Can't
Now I'll
say
tell
it.
someone else that story, and they'll get real serious on me and be like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." I told the kid, so basically, you want a shovel for Christmas, and they're like, "Oh, you're terrible." I've never said that. It's just a joke.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's a joke. Everybody, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
You gotta specify that nowadays.
Right. Unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
extremely
But
unfortunate
I've got
because it gives me a
4 or
lot of
5
trouble.
Santa suits. Keeps
Yeah,
me
and I
flexible.
remember
I don't
seeing-
have to have.
I remember seeing the one because there was 1 or 2 of them that aren't your traditional Santa
Coca-Cola Santa.
outs tunes that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some really
Yep.
cool. Like I'm like, damn, that's a badass Santa right there.
Yeah, I've got a leather Santa suit and stuff, so it looks pretty cool. Definitely,
Oh, that
if
would.
you're going to do it big time, you gotta invest in it. So
That's like I call the other Santa the Coca-Cola Santa because that seemed like where it got its biggest popularity from. They took away from the traditional Santa with the cape and the robe and all that stuff and went more to that style. And that's what a lot of people see nowadays. But there are some Santas out there from the past. They're just There's that one Santa Claus fit I saw where I think it's out of Norway, was all blue and white instead of red. Just amazing. I'm like, geez, couldn't imagine somebody being able to pull that off. I couldn't. I look like one of the elves, or more like the troll.
There you go.
I ain't told us. We get Joe in here, or one of our other co-hosts on the other show. We get him in here. He looks like he'd definitely be one of the elves.
Yeah, we call him Frodo. He a little fella.
Oh, nice.
Scrappier now.
Right.
He's the epitome of the saying that it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, or the fight the dog.
Yep.
And I know he was listening, so he's gonna be cussing us.
Right. That's okay.
I just can't imagine, man. Being a professional Santa that'd be kind of cool. I mean, it would. I don't know if I could do it every year, but for a little bit, that'd be kind of cool. But like I said, I just can't pull it off. I'm too short.
Yeah.
Well, it had to bring you joy and putting smiles on the kids' faces, and lighting it, that oh my God, I'm next kind of thing where I get to talk to Santa Claus for a minute, that had to have been cool.
Now, Mama D, don't be getting my mind in yours. Leather Santa.
Now, Phil, for Christmas photos, he's posted some doozy Christmas photos for on his Facebook page a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
that was funny as hell.
I did. The Santa Christmas calendar. Provocative Santa Christmas calendar.
Right. Yeah. He had one laying in front of the tree with just a present in front of his junk. That's funny, man.
That is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I've got a Santa phone.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
No.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
That's funny. That is hysterical.
So I know we're coming towards the end of the show, but I can't thank you enough for coming on with us. It's good to see you again.
No problem.
It's good to hear your voice, brother. If you can just mention again where they can get your book. I know Jay's posted a link for your movie from YouTube, but if you can post again tell us about your book, where we can get it, and we'll push the hell out of it as much as we can.
And I wanted to say, by the way, that link is right. I actually did it right this time, and it works. I tested it on my phone.
Awesome.
So the link is correct, and it will take you to the movie. I didn't screw it up this time. Yes. So where can we find your book at and find you at?
So the book is at Zodiac Boutique. I think it's zodiacboutique.com. It's based out of Hillsdale, Michigan. If anybody wants to get a hold of me about the book, if the link's not right or if we can't find it, my email is nitro19760@hotmail.com. That's also my PayPal if anybody wants to donate, because I haven't been paid since December. So life it's a struggle right now, but I'll also, the book's $20, $5 for shipping. Hit me up there and I can make it happen for you.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to post about it and give feeds and everything to that as well. So
I'll try to find the link and send it right to you, and you can put it on your page.
Will do.
If you look Zodiac Boutique up on Facebook, it should come right up.
Okay.
That's in Hillsdale, Michigan. Correct?
Yep.
Let me see if I do this right. Let me see if I can do it twice right tonight.
Are you gonna go 2 for 2, Jay? Is this gonna be a thing?
I doubt it. I'm a clusterfuck. Oh, they get a YouTube one again. Oh well, that's good.
I was gonna say you posted the same one. It's all right. We'll get it.
Oh man, I got it right here. I'm on the page. Why would it do that?
So do you guys know how many people are watching your show right now?
We're about 7 in the show. We've had about 30-some on and off throughout the entire show. Let's see, Zodiac Facebook page.
Because we're on Twitch and YouTube, so we've probably had, as Jay was saying, probably almost 50 in and out watching the show.
Nice.
ZodiacBoutique.net.
Nice. Okay, there you
Try
go.
again. Copy. If not, we'll give another link to your movie. Paste. Son of a bitch, I did it right.
There it is. There it is. ZodiacBoutique.net.
Awesome.
See, I'm not as dumb as Jason said I was. Just half as dumb.
Some dumb, not plumb dumb, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's my saying.
Right, I stole it.
There you go.
Well, Phil, brother, thanks again. I'm glad we could get you on the show. I'm glad that I'm glad you're able to sit and talk with us, brother. It's been a long
Absolutely.
time.
Me too.
Tell everybody in the family we said hi, and we'll keep posting this stuff, and we'll get some books sold.
Absolutely, man. It's wonderful meeting you.
Awesome.
And
I
can't wait to
appreciate
talk to
it.
you some more. I've had a ball. There's so much more that I want to pick your brain about because I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So you guys go check it out.
Figure it
The link
out
is
and
good.
call me up, and we'll do it again.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hit him up if you can't get to the Zodiac Boutique. Go check out the book. By all means, go check it out and stuff. And we'll see you guys Tuesday night for Stirring the Pot. We got to pick up last week's topic that we never got to. Dead celebrities, are they truly dead? Like, is Elvis still alive? Is Tupac really out there? Jason actually done his homework and was prepared for the show.
I did.
About everything else. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll get the hell out of here. We're almost say goodnight. Jason?
You guys rock. Again, thanks for joining us tonight. Please support our guests that we have on here. Check Phil Nitro Monahan out, Facebook, YouTube, the movie. All the links are posted here. Help support his book, and just keep showing him love. It's such a fantastic individual and a very good friend of mine. And again, Phil, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the show.
Anytime. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good
night, everybody.
Have a great Mother's Day. We'll see y'all later.